Hey, welcome. We live in a world where money feels like magic, right? A simple tap, a click, a swipe, and poof, it's gone or it's there. But what if I told you that behind that screen, there's this hidden architecture, a whole system of rules built not for speed, but for stability? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on those invisible forces that actually control your money, and we'll see why delay is often a feature, not a bug.
I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures what we're talking about. We've literally traded the sound of people's feet running to the bank for the quiet, internal scream of a loading bar. It highlights this weird paradox of modern money. It feels faster than ever, but it's all tied up in these quiet, procedural rules we only ever notice when we're in a real hurry.
So let's dive right into this paradox. On the one hand, you've got 24/7 digital access to your accounts. But on the other, there's this whole other world of waiting periods, daily limits, and settlement dates just humming along beneath the surface. And these aren't glitches, They are the scheduled, intentional realities of our entire financial system. To really get why our system works this way, we've got to look back in time a little bit, because the risks of today are just different from the risks of the past. So let's do a little comparison. The classic bank run from 1929 versus what a modern-day liquidity crunch might actually look like. Okay, so when you lay it out like this, you can really see the massive shift. The danger isn't just a bank running out of physical cash anymore. It's about systemic friction. We've moved from the physical barrier of a locked door to the digital barrier of a system that is literally designed to slow down when things get stressful. So what are these delays exactly? Well, they're not mistakes. They are deliberate, architectural features designed to manage the flow of money and, honestly, to prevent a stampede. Think of them like gates and levees in a massive river system. Let's break down a few of the most important ones.
All right, here's a big one, the liquidity gate. Imagine a ton of people try to pull their money out of an investment fund all at once. Well, the fund manager can basically hit a pause button. This stops them from having to sell off everything at rock bottom prices, which in turn protects the value for everyone who stays in. It's a pretty drastic measure for sure, but it's all about collective stability.
And what this shows so well is how this idea of friction is built into every single layer of the system. It's not just in those big investment funds. It's the daily ATM withdrawal limit on your bank account, right? Or the tax penalty you pay for dipping into your retirement fund early. Or even just a fraud check that holds up a big transfer for a few hours. Every single one is a speed bump with a very specific purpose.
Now, all these individual rules and mechanisms, they're all connected by something insiders call payment rails. And that river analogy is just perfect. These rails are the channels that our money flows through, and they have these locks built right in, designed to stagger huge movements of cash. The whole goal is to keep the entire system from flooding if there's a sudden surge.
So, this brings us to the crucial point, the million-dollar question. Why? Why does all of this exist? Why can't everything just be truly instantaneous? Well, it all boils down to this fundamental trade-off that is at the very heart of modern finance. This quote, this gets right to the heart of it. The people who built our financial system, they learned from past crises that absolute speed for individuals can create total chaos for the system. So the friction we feel, that delay, is actually a form of protection. It's designed to slow everyone down equally to prevent a panic-fueled stampede.
So here it is. This is the bargain that we've all kind of implicitly agreed to. We give up the ability to have all our money right this second, no questions asked. And what do we get in return? Well, we get some incredible benefits. Systemic stability, deposit insurance that protects our savings if a bank fails, and really powerful fraud protection systems that just wouldn't be possible without these built-in checks and balances. Okay, so knowing all this, knowing how the system is designed, what can we do? How do we prepare ourselves? The goal isn't to find some secret way to beat the system, but to understand its design and learn how to work within it gracefully.
A simple but incredibly effective way to think about this is the now, soon, and later framework. Basically, you organize your money based on when you might actually need it. Now is for your immediate, tangible needs. Soon is for accessible funds for short-term goals. And later, well, that's for your long-term investments, the stuff you've intentionally placed behind those protective walls of time and penalties.
And here are some really practical things you can do on a calm day to build that resilience. See, these aren't panicked reactions, they are calm preparations. Knowing the specific rules for your own accounts, talking openly with your family, confirming little details like beneficiaries. These small acts allow you to just refuse to be surprised by the calendar when things get stressful.
So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? How should we really view this system of intentional delays?
This is the core wisdom, right here. The system's narrow exits are a feature, designed to protect the whole community. True financial resilience, then, isn't about trying to find a secret, wider door. It's about understanding the design and preparing our own lives with patience and foresight so we never feel that desperate need to sprint through a crowded hallway.
And that leaves us with one final thought to consider. In a world where the financial system is intentionally designed for delay in moments of crisis, are we building our own plans for panicked speed? Or are we building a plan that allows for patient, deliberate grace? Thanks for joining me.